Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the N.G.L.A podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in with me. Make sure y'all like, share, also subscribe, hit that button. It costs you nothing. Please subscribe to the channel. I truly do appreciate everybody who does and who pops in and shows love. Today we got a good one. We giving sort of an update on this whole Russiagate Obama scandal thing, which includes Hilary Clinton also. And Stephen Miller is going to break it down on Maria Bartiromo show. And also Victor Davis Hanson also going to break down some things too. And then we're going to pay homage to my boy, Jalen Hurts. So let's get straight into it. We ain't even going to play with it. Let's get it.
Joining me now with more on the agenda and the efforts to undermine President Trump in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. Stephen, it's great to have you this morning. Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And I want to start with the Russia collusion story because I know you lived it as well. They also tried to spy on you. They wanted your emails, subpoenaed you as they left people really with their lives changed. Your reaction to what was released this week?
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison, there's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup, and I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hilary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Well, do you believe we will actually get accountability? We've been demanding accountability now for a decade. Our audience is well aware that this is the biggest political scandal we have ever seen and an effort to undermine and take down a duly elected president. But now we want to see the tricksters face the consequences. Will they?
I have complete confidence in the Department of Justice to follow these facts, to follow this new, further avalanche of evidence, and to take all the necessary legal steps to ensure that the wrongdoers, the coup plotters, the schemers, and the insurrectionists are held fully accountable under the laws and Constitution of these United States. Yes, Maria, I believe that.
Now, last weekend, John Ratcliffe, CIA director who is a former prosecutor, former DNI, told us that the statute of limitations, the 5-year statute, does not apply when it comes to conspiracy. And he says the conspiracy is ongoing because they still won't admit it. The conspiracy is still happening. So what is your take on what Ratcliffe told us last week?
Oh, he's completely right. So several of the statutes I mentioned, we have not even come close to eclipsing the statute of limitations. But more than that, it is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued through the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office, and it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and hide this information on behalf of the people they are protecting. There are still staffers in Democrat offices who know the full truth, who are concealing that truth. So all of this behavior, all of this conduct collectively means the conspiracy hasn't ended, is ongoing. Comey in particular has throughout the years engaged in conduct and lies, public statements, and testimony in front of Congress. False testimony whose sole purpose was to perpetuate and continue the conspiracy. So I have every hope and expectation that the Department of Justice, under the leadership of our courageous Attorney General, will follow these facts and follow the evidence and deliver justice. Because if we have a country where we can continue to have FBI careerists and CIA careerists, deep staters, who will fabricate and doctor evidence, who will create and produce fake material, fabricated material, phony information to try to go after their political enemies up to and including the president. If we continue to create the impression and the reality that there is not a criminal, a severe criminal penalty for such conduct, it will never stop, it will never desist. It will keep on going forever. And we will continue to have a country that is sabotaged endlessly by the production of fake documents, fake material, fake plots against democratically elected officials. We can't have that. There must be consequences.
Well, I mean,
Yo, that's a fact though, man. I've said this on a previous show that, you know, it has to happen, because if not, it's going to keep happening again and again. And if they can do like what, it's so hilarious because Trump really could have went after Hilary Clinton if he wanted to. He chose not to. He chose the nice route. He chose the, it's Bill Clinton's wife. What I look like going after the president's wife. And then look, soon as he let her slide, when he got out of office, they literally just tried to whack him, stab him in the back, humiliate him in every which way you could think of, take him in and out of court. Millions of dollars wasted, and this is what he should do. He should go after them. Why not? They did it to you, and just think about it. If they would have won this election, they would have went even harder. They would have went even harder. It's so true. I'm gonna play a video tomorrow too. It was a good with Stephen Gardner, and he had a It wasn't really an interview. Well, I guess you could say it was an interview with Mayor Trent Staggs, and it was really good. And I was gonna play it today, but I said I'm gonna wait for tomorrow. It kind of goes with this whole Russiagate thing, but they was kind of going a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna play it on tomorrow's show though.
it's just extraordinary to me.
This dude Stephen Miller though, he a pit bull for real.
The mainstream media has completely ignored this story. And they obviously were complicit from day one, being the quote-unquote useful idiots of the cabal to spread this nonsense across the world. But the Russia collusion lie had such an incredible impact. People went to jail. They should not have. People were raided. They raided Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's home, looking for these documents, according to Devin Nunes.
Correct. By the way, that's a great point. The Mar-a-Lago raid was a perpetuation and continuation of this same conspiracy. They went in search.
And mind you, that was after he was president, too.
And in hopes of trying to recover the documents that would implicate their own criminal conduct.
That's right.
The entire raid was a perpetuation of this same criminal scheme, as you mentioned. And so many innocent people suffered irreparable harm. Paul Manafort was left to rot in a prison cell because of this ridiculous investigation, this witch hunt that is carried out. How many homes were raided? How many documents were taken? Emails were taken against the innocent, against people whose only crime was working for President Trump.
Right.
And everything that has happened, including, I would argue, all of the interference in 2024 that took place and in 2020 that took place, all the dirty tricks that kept taking place against President Trump, were all part of a desire to keep him from getting back into the Oval Office to uncover and expose and share with the world the full truth of what happened, as we are seeing now, Maria.
They also set up General Mike Flynn. Let's not forget about that. There were so many implications of this lie. But even more so, let's talk about the impact to the American people. Because while Adam Schiff was going on the Sunday political shows, and he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee for a time, saying there's collusion in plain sight. When you have that kind of a title, you're the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, and you say there's collusion in plain sight, we believe you. You've got the job. You must have seen more than we've seen. So to outwardly lie like that because you have that title. Same thing with former director of CIA, John Brennan. He's got that title. We believe him because he says it. So all of this, when they were running around, Russia, 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 how much did they miss? How much did they leave on the cutting room floor? For example, right now, we are dependent on China for 90% of the underlying components for our prescription drugs. We saw Russia invade Ukraine, more territory. We saw Iran continue to build up nuclear weaponry. All of the things that actually matter to the American people were not the focus for 10 years.
Is incalculable. The cost is incalculable of having the entire security apparatus of this country focusing on the hoax instead of the real national security threats facing America. Lie after lie after lie that was told to the American people, preventing us from actually solving our relationship with Russia, preventing us from actually developing security and independence from all of our adversaries around the world, dealing with these big geopolitical questions. Instead, we were consumed endlessly by the same hoax, the same lie. And the charlatans that engage in this conduct are beneath contempt. They are without dignity, and they are beyond redemption. What they have done, you can't even measure the harm that it inflicted.
Stephen, real quick before you go, take us to today, because President Trump has these deadlines underway. He is telling Russia, you've got days that are numbered. August 8th is the deadline to stop this war in Ukraine. What is he going to do in terms of sanctions? Can he actually stop this war? And what about China and a trade deal?
Well, so first of all, we've never been in a stronger place economically than we are right now. Not only because the president passed the largest ever tax cut and relief in American history, not only because he's opened up American energy to a degree never seen before, eliminated all of the wasteful regulations, streamlining our economy, but because he has used trade to strengthen instead of weaken America. The trade deal with the EU, the trade deal with Japan, the trade deal with Korea, the tariff revenue that is reducing our deficit. So now we're in a position of economic strength to deal with Russia and to deal with this war that he inherited from Joe Biden, who is responsible for this travesty. The whole Democrat Party is responsible for this travesty in Europe. So what he said very clearly is that it is not acceptable for India to continue financing this war by purchasing the oil from Russia. People will be shocked to learn that India is basically tied with China in purchasing Russian oil. That's an astonishing fact. India portrays itself as being one of our closest friends in the world, but they don't accept our products. They impose massive tariffs on us. We also know they engage in a lot of cheating on immigration policies that is very harmful to American workers. And of course, we see again the purchasing of oil. So President Trump, look, he wants a tremendous relationship and has had always a tremendous relationship with India and the Prime Minister. But we need to get real about dealing with the financing of this war. So President Trump, all options are on the table to deal diplomatically, financially, and otherwise with the ongoing war in Ukraine so we can achieve peace and end the war that the Democrat Party and Joe Biden are responsible for.
I just really hope that it's gonna be so crazy seeing like all of these people come forward, because it's just gonna be a lot of flipping, a lot of people. It's gonna be a lot of things that come out that are uncovered that nobody even knew about. It's gonna be big, man. But Trump is doing a lot, and he's definitely gonna get these deals done. I think he's gonna do something major is gonna come, man. Because just think about it. He just did that huge deal with the EU, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan. Come on. Come on. Shit is booming right now. And if he can get that whole thing settled with Russia and Ukraine, that's going to be major. Super major. It's going to just show you the influence that Donald Trump really is having right now, the impact that he is really having right now in America. You know, nobody wants to fuck up the business. Nobody wants to fuck up the money. And that's all they're going to do. You know, they're going to fuck the money up. They're going to fuck the chicken up. So Putin won't have no choice but to come to the table and make something happen. Like I said yesterday, man, I think it's dumb. I think they have no real reason about it's just an ongoing thing that's happening for no reason, really. Like at this point, it's just like ridiculous. But let's get on to this video with Victor Davis Hanson. He's gonna kind of break things down a little bit too on this whole ordeal.
Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily
Davis. I
Signal.
always
I'd like
say
to talk
David,
about
but it's
the
Davis.
ongoing melodrama of what Barack Obama knew or did not know in his involvement with Russian collusion, the hoax that plagued the Donald Trump 2016 campaign, tried to undermine his transition in 2016 and 17, and ate up the first 22 months of his presidency.
Yo, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. If you ain't subscribed, also hit that like button. I really appreciate it.
In 2017 and 18,
Cost
was
you
found
nothing.
to be completely bogus. There are three blind mice involved in this tale. John Brennan, the former CIA director, James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, and James Comey, the former FBI director. And they all have new manifestations of their untruthfulness. Let's start with John Brennan. He's very angry right now because the trove that was released by Tulsi Gabbard of new documents.
Yo, I really fuck with Victor Davis Hanson because he really be breaking shit down. And, you know, like Stephen Miller, he kind of uses language sometimes that kind of will go over your head. But even though Victor Davis Hanson talks intelligent and all that, he kind of breaks things down where you can really understand
investigations may or may not have criminal referrals come out of them, and Pam Bondi may file new charges. The problem that Brennan has is that he went to a meeting and he presented a false picture of CIA assessments. The so-called CIA heads of various divisions found no Russian collusion. They said to John Brennan, there's nothing there that we can see that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. He rejected that, cherry-picked 4 or 5 other analysts, and then presented a false picture to Barack Obama. Or did he? Or did Barack Obama request that he do that? It'll be he said, but it's more likely that Barack Obama asked John Brennan to come up with the correct CIA assessments, sort of like Mr. Beria, the head of Soviet secret police during the Cold War and at the end of World War II. He said, I have the criminal, you find me the crime. So I have the criminal, Donald Trump, all I need is Russian collusion. And that was the methodology that they proceeded by. The problem with Brennan, though, is he, in the process of preparing this false assessment, he said again and again, both publicly but also under testimony, he didn't know anything about the Steele dossier. Didn't know anything about it. He didn't read it. It didn't compute into CIA assessment. That was a lie. That was a lie. We know now from other testimonies, especially from the Trove, that he did draw on the fake Steele dossier. He referenced it to other people. And the problem with John Brennan is this isn't the first time he's misled us. He lied about the Senate staffer computers. That was under oath. He lied, remember, about Predator drones when he said there was no collateral damage. And remember, he lied also as one of the 51 intelligence authorities who tried to float that bogus idea that Hunter's laptop was cooked up in Russia. Then we come to James Clapper. He was sitting at this meeting in December of 2016 where he gave a false assessment and he misrepresented what the 18 intelligence agencies under his direction had found. They had not found Russian collusion, and yet he participated in this. He went so far as later to thanking and giving credit to Barack Obama for demanding that they find Russian collusion. He said if he hadn't have ordered us to do this, we wouldn't have found it, i.e. the subtext is there was no evidence in our intelligence agency for it, so we concocted it on the directive of Barack Obama. But remember, he lied too. He swore under oath to the U.S. Congress that the National Security Agency had never spied on Americans. That was an abject lie, and he was part of the 51 intelligence authorities who also lied to the American people in 2020 on the eve of the second debate when Joe Biden denied that Hunter Biden's laptop was authentic. He quoted the 51 authorities. The FBI, remember, at that time had it in his possession and had already authenticated it as genuine. Then we come to James Comey. He also says that he had really nothing to do with the Steele dossier. The fact is, he was completely acquainted with it. His FBI offered $1 million. They were so desperate to validate it. They said to Christopher Steele, just give us some proof. We can use this. We'll give you $1 million. He couldn't even.
Yo, just think about that, though. These are like, this is why I say, like, and he's talking about specific people that was in Obama's administration, but these are political figures. And this is why I say the media is really like the biggest component to all of this, because they push the shit too. And people watch the news. My mother, like my family, a lot of people watch the news and they take the things that these people say as the gospel. Like, it gotta be true. They're all saying it. You know, so when this whole thing happened, every single news station was pushing this out like it was the truth. You know, Donald Trump colluded with Russia to win the election. Like, really trying to overthrow Donald Trump's election and get him impeached and all of that. Like, that shit is crazy that all of this is coming out.
He couldn't even come up with the substantive arguments to
it's like a big deal, bro.
Dossier, so he didn't get the $1 million. More importantly, James Comey has a problem. He leaked on an FBI device a conversation he had memorialized to the New York Times via a third party. James Comey, remember, went before the House Oversight Committee, as I said earlier, and lied 245 times. If you say, I don't remember, I don't recall, I don't know. Can you imagine an FBI director with all that knowledge at his fingertips saying, I don't remember, I don't know about the most important investigation in recent history? Let's sum up these three blind mice. There's new evidence that Barack Obama asked intelligence and investigatory heads like John Brennan, like James Clapper, and James Comey to find me evidence that you haven't found yet so that we can continue the Russian collusion hoax after it was ineffective in the campaign. Hillary lost the election. Now we want to sabotage. This is the subtext of the transition and his presidency. You go back, we only have a few weeks left. I'm a lame duck president, and bring me the right assessments. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they're terrified that new information is coming forth that suggests to the American people what they did and how they were culpable. Thank you very much.
Me breaking that shit down. It's so crazy, man. How corrupt, just like our whole system is. Like, I feel as though, honestly, if you're, like, when you campaigning, it's one thing that, you know, you trying to win the election. You know, I think certain things should be off the table when it gets personal or whatever, but they're trying to win the election, and your whole goal is to basically, how can I make this person look unintelligent? How can I make them look bad, make me look like I'm the best person for the position? But to just flat out just be lying, I just think that should just be, I mean, illegal. Like, it shouldn't be allowed to do it. And they do it, and really nobody gets held accountable. They just get the, you know, guys like all these Stephen Colbert, all of them, all of the CNN, MSNBC, all of them. They all, Abby Phillips, they all get out here and they just push these stories. and it's just flat out lies. They know it's lies, but they still push it anyway because they're getting paid to do it. You know, and that's really all it is to it. They get paid to get up there and lie and push these stories, and a lot of them are getting fired now because they shows is whack. Nobody's watching it. They focus. They had and I wish I should have played it tonight, man, but I ain't got it uploaded right now. I ain't even gonna do all that. But tomorrow I'm gonna play this joint with Stephen Gardner because he made a good point in this whole thing. Is the Democrats have no solutions, so they can say all of this shit they want about Donald Trump. They have no solutions. So okay, you don't fuck with the tariffs. Okay, why? All right, you told us why. You don't fuck with the tariffs. All right, so what's the solution other than putting tariffs on these other countries? They don't have none. And that goes for every single issue that's going on. With the border, for mad long, they kept saying Donald Trump blocked the bill that would have helped with the border. It was a lie. Donald Trump didn't pass he didn't do anything but say close the border. That's it. Close the border, and the border got closed. So that's how you just know that all of this shit that these people were doing was corrupt, and all they do is lie. That's why I don't understand how anybody even, is looking to even vote for these people. They had a I seen a clip where a guy was out there saying that Kamala Harris was was going to be on. Did I play that? Yeah, I think I played it yesterday, where he was like in the street and he was asking people about being on Kamala Harris being on Stephen Colbert. Everybody was acting like they was all happy. Oh yeah, oh Kamala. And then they was asking, would you want her to run in 2028? And they all like, nah, we want a primary. We want a primary. Like, because that's how our, system, our democratic system works. You have a primary, the best person wins, and then they go up against the Republican primary. Whoever wins in the Republican primary. So that's how it's supposed to go. What they did with just making Joe Biden the primary and then switching it to her, that's not even how our system works. That's how much of a fraud these people are. That they're just like, nah, everybody sit on the sideline. We ain't having no primary. We putting Joe in. And they wanted to put Joe in because Joe was brain dead. And then they could have did whatever they wanted. They could do whatever they want to at that point, like they was doing for literally 3.5 years. Yo, what's the name? They have what's his name? Mike Johnson. Speaker Mike Johnson said that he had a meeting that he was trying to get this meeting with Joe Biden for months. He finally got the meeting and he asked him about a bill that he passed. I forget what bill it was off top, but he asked him about a bill he passed, and he said, Joe Biden said, what? I didn't do that. Like, he genuinely didn't know that he passed this bill. That's how much that, like he wasn't involved with everything that was going on. This is crazy, man. But let's get on to this next segment, because in the beginning, I watched a lot of people diss my boy Jalen Hurts, right? And I was one of the few. I'm not going to say I was the only, but I was one of the few people. Not when we drafted him, but when he started, because I didn't care that we drafted him, to be honest, because I seen the kind of the downfall of Carson Wentz at the time. And I'm like, hey, we're going to see what he's going to do. At the time, I wasn't big on college football, so I just seen little highlights of what he was doing. And I'm like, oh, he looked decent. Then he got his opportunity. I seen him. I'm like, yo, this guy look like the real deal. With the right, coaches and the right system, right players, he could be a problem. And when everybody was kicking his back in and saying he ain't like that, he's not going to go far in the NFL, I was one of the few people that was right there riding for my boy. And I just want to pay homage to my guy, It's my guy. It's Jalen Hurts, man, So let's get into this segment. Shout out to Critch Productions. Put this whole video together. This shit is dope.
Times that he's played Patrick Mahomes,
He did what?
he's outplayed him every single time.
My takeaway on Jalen Hurts is I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
So if we look at the Eagles, is it Hurts or the team?
Was benched in the national championship game. Benched by the greatest college football coach of all time. Didn't break him. Had to go back in a year later. Transfers. And listen, I owe publicly Jalen Hurts an apology.
Yes, you do.
From the SEC to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts has silenced every critic who has ever doubted him. Benched in college, drafted as a backup, and branded as a system quarterback, and yet time after time he's answered with wins, grit, and jaw-dropping plays under pressure.
Hurts in the gun, trailed by Barkley. We're going to run some block. He is going deep. Or maybe throw the dagger. Hurts going deep for it all. Devontae Smith. He has got it. Touchdown. Devontae Smith, 46 yards. The Slim Reaper.
And that's the thing, don't take just my word for it. Take it from NFL legends who actually lined up against him. Because in today's video, this is exactly what NFL greats had to say the first time they faced Jalen Hurts. Now, when the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round of the 2020 draft, NFL analysts didn't know exactly what to think. My Brain Hurts is what one article from The Athletic was headlined, going on to query why the Eagles weren't doing everything in their power to help the 27-year-old franchise quarterback Carson Wentz, who they just had paid. And it's fair to say too that when the Eagles did draft Hurts, not many fans were happy with this decision.
Jalen Hurts, dude. Jalen Hurts, Howie.
I want to know. I want to know this guy's opinion now. I guarantee another Eagles fan who was out of his fucking mind, who every time the Eagles lose a game, he be ready to fucking he be saying anything, man. I can say there's a lot of delusional Eagles fans, bro. I ain't one of them. When we was trash, I was saying we was trash. You know, when our defense sucked, I was like, yo, we got to get our defense together. The year was it after the Super Bowl or the year of the Super Bowl, our defense was suspect. We was giving up a lot of points that year. And the year after that, when we didn't make it obviously to the Super Bowl, the year after we went with Jalen, but he was still putting up numbers. But our defense was giving up 20 plus points a game. Like, it was crazy. Once we got that defense right.
Are you serious?
The Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Hurts, quarterback. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
This nigga ain't never played football a day in his life.
Nevertheless, though, Jalen got right down to work, and Eagles GM Howie Roseman was vindicted for his selection, with Hurts being plugged into the lineup for the last few games of his rookie season, replacing a rapidly declining Carson Wentz. And that's the crazy part too, because by the following season, Jalen Hurts was named the starter, and so many NFL legends were already talking about him.
Absolutely. I had a lot of respect for him going into it. You know, he had a heck of a game last week, continues to get better and better, and you know, more of the same this game. He had that drive at the end there where he was using his legs to make stuff happen. He made some good throws. I know he's gonna be a really good quarterback.
Like, I mean, look, it's no surprise that Fred Warner highlighted the threat that Jalen Hurts brings as a runner. The quarterback is Philly began experimenting with the quarterback sneak, looking for ways to give themselves a leg up on their opponents by making the most of their quarterback's physicality and strength. As a result, the brotherly shove was born, and one player who got a taste of it during the regular season in 2021 was Tom Brady. And it's fair to say too that the future Hall of Famer and undeniable GOAT of the sport was intrigued while also impressed by its main benefactor, Jalen Hurts.
It's a great tool to have, and I like the way they're doing it. They're kind of making it like a rugby scrum a little bit, and putting a lot of bodies in there, which is kind of a new take on it. Be interesting to see how defenses start to defend that. But but he's doing a great job. I mean, he's a great young player. He's throwing the ball well, running it well, sneaking it well. They're scoring touchdowns. They got a great team.
So now with the help of a newly rebranded tush push and the arrival of superstar wide receiver A.J. Brown in a brilliant draft day trade by Howie Roseman, Jalen Hurts broke out in style in 2022. So much so that he received a heavy dose of MVP buzz for his efforts in leading the Eagles on a playoff run. He completed 66.5% of his passes for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions through the air, while also collecting 760 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground. Carolina Panthers defensive tackle Derek Brown had seen this quality up close and personal when trying to slow Hurts down in 2021, and now that he had seen his development in 2022, he was ready to crown him as his top-ranked player in the NFL.
Who's the number one guy?
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. Make big plays with his feet or big plays with his arm. Take one away and he might kill you with the other.
It was a quality breakout effort for Hurts, who helped the Eagles improve from 9 wins to 14 wins and a division title. It completely changed the perception of him as a quarterback as well. And one person who was very impressed with his journey is legendary quarterback Drew Brees, who had this to say about Hurts on the Up and Adams show.
I love his journey. Like I think he's an incredible representation of like grit, determination, perseverance. Like let's just like go back to his college days. People forget that at one point Tua Tagovailoa, kind of beat him out and took the job, and he backed him up for a year, and then came in and played great. Then transferred to OU, had an incredible senior season, then gets drafted in the second round, and it's like, what type of quarterback is Jalen Hurts going to be in the NFL? Because he's kind of this hybrid. I think what he's shown is, man, he can beat you with his legs. He can beat you in the pocket. Obviously, they've got some incredible weapons around him, but I love his demeanor. I love his poise. There's a confidence, like you feel it when you just kind of watch the guy speak, and certainly the way he plays. Man, you can tell that he's the calm hand that steers the ship.
And I think that's so cool too, because Drew Brees knows what it takes to become an elite quarterback in the NFL, and on top of that, he faced adversity at the beginning of his career as well. Like, it just felt in that interview too that Drew Brees really kind of had admiration, or felt the admiration for Jalen Hurts, and kind of understood what he was going through and just how he handled his own personal journey to getting to the NFL, as how Drew Brees handled his, very similarly, with not many people giving him a chance once he was injured, and not many people giving Jalen Hurts a chance when he was drafted by the Eagles. But that's the thing, you only need a few things from your quarterback at the end of the day. You need a steady hand and a leader who can shoulder the load for his team when he gets his number called upon. And yes, while Brees was impressed by Hurts' progression, there were plenty of other people who wanted to throw cold water on his MVP buzz.
Coming back, but it's down to 2. Who else would you put? I'll probably put Hurts and Mahomes right now. End of the season. It's hard for me to really speak on this. Josh right there. Josh is probably right there.
Micah fuck with Hurts, bro.
I mean, it's clear Parsons had something on his mind that he was reluctant to reveal just a couple of weeks before facing off against the Eagles. But of course, he let it out just a few moments later.
Man, so if we look at the Eagles, is it Hurts or the team? I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think it's a little.
And look, I agree. It's a team sport. You can't do it all by yourself. Of course, that's nobody. It's no quarterback went to the Super Bowl and won it just by themselves, bro. It's a little bit of both. Howie and them went and got the pieces. They went and got the pieces that he needed. And he got a lot of steals out of it, too. Like A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? But he right. This coming from Von Miller, bro. Arguably one of the best defensive players, like, ever. And Michael Parsons, no. He in the league right now, so, it's certain things that he ain't going to give motherfuckers they props on because he in the league. He got to play against these guys. But he knows, man. He knows Jalen Hurts is the real deal. And Von Miller knows, too.
It's system and team. I think it's a little bit of both, man, because they got a great offensive line, which helps Hurts. Hurts has A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. They got a good running game. I mean, Miles Sanders. They scheme that they have.
Oh, this is when we had Miles Sanders. And that's what I wanted to say too, is that we went to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. Miles Sanders wasn't elite. So Miles Sanders was good. but he wasn't elite. At that time, there was a lot of running backs who were better than Miles Sanders. Come on, you gotta agree with that. We had A.J. Brown, and we had Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert. Like, so when Cam made that argument, I agree with some of the things he was saying. And I ain't arguing with nobody. Like I said yesterday, I'm not arguing with nobody about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You could debate that all day. I'm not debating that. It was everybody else that he tried to put in front of him. So just gotta let it be known, man. I like Jalen Hurts' poise. I like his leadership. He's a true leader. He wants to win. And I'm a winner. It's no better feeling than winning. I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. I love winning. And that's how, and Jalen Hurts just shows that winning mentality. And he does nothing but get better and better and better. And that's what I love. He's coachable. He's never gets too high. A lot of guys, man, they'll have a good season, start getting Campbell soup commercials and some deals and things like that, and then they fall off because they kind of focus on everything but football. What got him there? Jalen Hurts focuses on football. Everything else is cool. That's what's up. Didn't even put the ring on. He like, nah, I ain't finished yet. He gonna probably, he gonna have like 4, maybe 5 of them things. You know what I mean? He gonna do something great. Watch. I'm telling you.
Bro,
especially
on this podcast appearance as well, Parsons is making the case that many fans were arguing about all year long and tend to argue about with other quarterbacks every single season. Is it the quarterback or is it the system?
Hit that like button.
It was Philly's system that was propping up
Hit that subscribe
Hurts,
button if you
not
ain't
the other way
subscribed.
around. But that's the thing too. He certainly wasn't alone in that opinion, but that doesn't mean
Cost you
Hurts
nothing.
didn't have some people fighting in his corner as well.
I like the fact that he shares his opinion, but he's wrong. I disagree with him.
Mm-hmm.
They built a great team around Jalen Hurts. The system's definitely really solid, but all I care about is, does he make the tight window throws?
Yes, he does.
Does he hit people on the numbers? Does he hit people outside the numbers and deep? He's done all those things this year, and his game's improved greatly. He showed signs of all this. He's always been a pretty solid deep ball thrower, but if you look at the throws he makes outside the numbers, he's one of the best throwers. He has been one of the best throwers this year. Throwers of the football, period. And a layer to this is, like, of all teams to be taking shots at Jalen Hurts, your quarterback's Dak Prescott. Jalen's better.
While the arguments off the field and online raged on, Jalen Hurts did what he did best, empowered the Eagles to a Super Bowl appearance where he would face off against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, that first trip to the Super Bowl didn't end in glory for Hurts and the Eagles, although the Philly quarterback certainly impressed on the biggest of stages. His 71% completion rate for 304 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions, combined with 70 yards and 3 scores on the ground to produce a truly epic Super Bowl performance by Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately though, Patrick Mahomes was pretty damn good on that day as well, helping the Chiefs edge out the 38-35 victory. Legendary Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones was one of the men tasked with stopping Jalen on that day, and it's fair to say that he was impressed with the young quarterback.
He had the best performance in the Super Bowl that I've ever seen of a quarterback. Running the ball, throwing the ball, he balled out.
Hell, Mahomes himself also had plenty of praise to send in the direction of his defeated opponent.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now. I mean, the way he stepped up on this stage and ran through the ball, whatever it took for his team to win, I mean, that was a special performance that I don't want to get. I don't want it to get lost in the loss that they had. I mean, even whenever we got all the momentum in that game and we went up 8 points in the fourth quarter, for him to respond and move his team right down the football field and run it in himself for the 2-point conversion, it was a special performance by him, man. And I mean, you make sure you appreciate that when you look back on this game.
And at the beginning of the 2023 season, it all seemed like all that performance in the 2022 season was carrying over, at least to start the season. The Eagles endured a messy collapse though at the end of the year, but before that, it looked like they were heading straight back to the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts was a big reason why. In a tense 37-34 overtime win against the Buffalo Bills, Hurts had 3 passing touchdowns and 2 more on the ground, one of which was the overtime game winner. It was an impressive showing to close out the game against an AFC powerhouse, and Philly legend Jason Kelce was quick to praise his quarterback.
Bro, Jalen Hurts was putting up points, bro. Even last year, I think, except 2 games, he put over 21 points all season. Like, that's talent. And he scored a lot of running. You know, they did the QB, the sneak or whatever. He did a lot of the tush push. But so what? It's part of the game. But he scored a lot of touchdowns himself. He was like when you was betting, he was like damn near a guaranteed TD every game. On top of that, great arm, can play in the pocket, run when he have to, slide. Very smart quarterback. That's one of the things I loved about him. Carson Wentz had that. His only problem was he didn't slide. He thought he was Superman, and that hurt him. But Carson Wentz had the talent. He just didn't have the intelligence. This guy has the full package. Intelligent, got the aura, the arm, he can run. Like, he got the whole full package, bro. And he's a leader, a true leader.
Quarterback's clutch ability after that game.
There aren't too many guys that I've played with.
My guy.
That's been more clutch down the stretch. If you look at, since he's, especially last year, 2-minute situations, game on the line, the Super Bowl goes down to touchdown right down the stretch. I mean, he's been so good in crucial situations when things have to happen. And that's a trait not to take lightly. I think that if you look at most of the best players, that is a trait that they have to have. And it's a big reason why we've won the last 3 weeks is his ability to really get it done down the stretch when it matters most.
Unfortunately, the team did collapse after that dramatic win, losing 6 of their last 7 games, including a dismal wildcard round exit against Tampa Bay, in which the offense just scored 9 points.
Yeah,
after that postseason performance too, it was a horrible period for the Eagles in which Nick Sirianni was stuck on the hot seat, and critics of Jalen Hurts took victory laps, seemingly convinced that his 2022 season was a mirage and that he still was a long way off being a top quarterback. That's the thing though. On the other hand, Howie Roseman disagreed. He kept Nick Sirianni at his post, leading the team, and not only that, but then loaded up the offense with so much talent that they were bound to go on an epic run. And as we all know, it was a pretty insane run last year. With Saquon Barkley notching 2,000 yards in his first season as an Eagle, Philadelphia stormed to another 14-3 record in the NFC Championship game. Much of the talk all season was once again surrounding Jalen Hurts' role in the offense, but 262 total yards and 4 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game reminded everyone how good this guy was when the pressure was on. Then, to really ram home the point, Hurts was epic in Super Bowl 59, this time downing Mahomes' Chiefs with a sumptuous performance, completing 77% of his passes for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, to go along with 72 yards and 1 score on the ground. And following that performance in the Super Bowl too, there was little doubt of how good Jalen Hurts was as a quarterback in the NFL. And not only that too, he was worthy of all the praise in the world. And that's the best part too, because he certainly got some from legendary Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who said this a few months after the game.
We just felt like going into the game that we had to somehow not allow them to be two-dimensional.
Yep.
Because I've been there, you can't defend them because they get the run going and then he's throwing the ball and he gets out of the pocket. I did think we did a fairly good job of that. Anthony and I were talking about it earlier, but to the credit to the quarterback, the rest of those guys that were playing on offense, they made some key throws, and I thought Jalen did a great job really in critical situations of beating us or getting first downs with his feet. I thought that was really, really challenging, and that's what happens in this league. Nowadays with these athletic quarterbacks. I mean, you can take away runs, you can cover really well, have them all covered, and when they say, hey, I'm going to get the first down with my feet, and they're able to do it because your lanes are out of whack or something happens, then it becomes challenging, and I give them a lot of credit for what they did.
And that's the thing too. I think if Steve Spagnuolo is saying that, After watching Jalen Hurts destroy his own defense, then I think we can all be pretty confident in saying that Jalen Hurts is a certified, legitimate man, just a beast in the NFL. And one guy who certainly agrees is his legendary teammate Brandon Graham, who had this to say on the Up and Adams show.
He's my top 5. And, if I had to go, he's my number 1 because of, him playing. I know I ain't playing for them other quarterbacks. All I know is him, and we won the championship. And I'm going to go just straight there. For this year, he got to be number 1. You know what I'm saying? He won against the GOAT. It wasn't like he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I feel like a lot of people, everybody got their opinions, but I feel like for us, as a group, he was the one that led us to that promised land. So he gotta be number 1 for this year.
But that still begs the question: do you agree with what Brandon?
Yes, I do. I do agree with Brandon Graham. Jalen Hurts is going to go down as one of the best, man. All the GOAT shit, that's irrelevant. Who cares? He's going to go down as the best Philadelphia Eagles quarterback ever. Because thinking about it, who else is there? Nobody. Nick Foles won, right? But he played the best, 5-6 games of his life? Cool. But he wasn't a starting quarterback. That was his greatest run ever as a quarterback. Who else can you say? Randall Cunningham? Okay. No. Jalen Hurts is better. Donovan McNabb, he's better. Michael Vick was on the back end of his career, so, I can't, but I love Michael Vick. That's my guy. I'll put him over Lamar Jackson. Fuck y'all, and I don't care what none of you new school niggas talking about. Michael Vick had a stronger arm, was way faster, and he just made it look way better than Lamar Jackson does. I'm just being honest. I'm not hating on Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar Jackson. Solid quarterback. Really showed up last year. Before that, I thought he was overrated, to be honest with you. But Jalen Hurts, I just wanted to pay homage to my guy. Season starting on the preseason, starting on the 7th. And I'm ready. We definitely going to be locked in about the Eagles on the N.G.L.A. podcast. So we're going to be talking Eagles. I want to argue with motherfuckers. I want to debate. I want to do whatever. With Dallas fans, Bears fans, whatever fan you is, it doesn't matter. I want you to lock in with me. We're gonna be watching some games. We're gonna do a lot, man. We're gonna do a little bit of everything, man. I'm new to this space. Let me know what you guys, are into, what you guys want to react to, all that. I love comments, negative, positive. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck. I just want some feedback. I want y'all to hit that like button. I want y'all to hit that subscribe button. I want y'all to lock in with me. We're going to have some fun, have some laughs, all that. And we're going to have fun with it, man. But, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles and my boy Jalen Hurts. And we going to the Super Bowl again this year. I'm making my predictions. It's going to be, I ain't going to lie, man. Let me see. I'm thinking it's going to be us. All right, I'm going to just say who going to be in the NFC Championship game. It's going to be the Eagles versus... Nah, I can't put... Yo, you know what it'd be crazy? If it was us versus Washington. That'd be nutty, right? That'd be a good one. I'd rather play. I really want. I think they're gonna be good, bro. Washington they're gonna be nice. They added some speed. They got some shit going on with their wide receiver, but whatever. Fuck who else going. The Philadelphia Eagles going to the Super Bowl. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win it for the second time. We it's guaranteed. Like, nobody's gonna stop us. The only thing that I dislike is we got rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That really blew my shit because, I know that we got Reed Blankenship and we got Cooper DeJean. You know, we got Zach Vaughn back. We still, you know, we added Jahad Campbell. We got pieces. Don't get it fucked up. But I just really like the CJ Gardner-Johnson, bro. He was a dog. Like, he's a dog, and you need dogs back there. And he was a good leader, too, on the defense. So, I don't know, you know, but we still going to be nice. I would have got rid of, whatever, man. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. Lock in with me. We're gonna definitely be talking Eagles. But definitely like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy SL550. I'm out, man. Until tomorrow. Peace.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.